What made OG Fortnite so good?
The original Fortnite Chapter 1 is going to go down as one of the best times in gaming ever. So good that Epic would constantly take locations from the original map and bring them back again and again and again and again, and then just say, screw it, let's bring the entire map back twice. And a lot of people will say that,
Oh yeah, they did do it twice, didn't they? I like it the first time. When it was the first time, it actually did feel awesome. But now I feel like they're dragging it. It's still a good game, just not as good as I thought. I mean, not as good as I remember it, obviously. Chapter 2 was like peak Fortnite.
they're just milking Chapter 1 and the hype is just artificial. It's all nostalgia. It's officially been a year since we had the Chapter 1 OG season that was probably meant to be the last.
This was a good season. I remember playing Chapter 1 like back then. Like my friend told me to play it. I was playing at his house one day. Best game I ever played.
Last time we would ever play on that map, but Epic is bringing it back permanently in just a few weeks. So I wanted to see if the magic of Chapter 1 is just gonna die when it comes back for good, and if we only appreciated it because it was temporary, or if Chapter 1 is actually just better. Today we're not gonna be looking back at the entirety of Chapter 1, but after a full year since the OG season, I think it's a good time for a retrospective on that, and to me, that season easily proved that it wasn't nostalgia. But real quick before we start, I just want to say thank you for the support on the last video and for 10,000 subscribers. That is so crazy. But dude, you know what else is crazy? Is that some of you guys are returning to watch multiple of my videos and you aren't subscribed. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new videos, and use code Tedesco in the Fortnite item shop so I can quit my job. Thank you. What made this season's launch so good is the fact that we had no idea it was happening until just a few weeks before. We're almost at the end of the 4th chapter of Fortnite. The Chapter 1 map just seemed to be left behind.
I don't remember what that season was named, but that was a good season. I think this was a good season. With the mansion and then like you steal the mythics from the vault. That was a pretty good season. It got just dry really quickly, and then it kind of got repetitive. That's what happens with every Fortnite season now. Like, it's good on release, but after like 2 weeks, people get bored if there's no weekly updates. And we have like usually the same weekly updates every single season. I think that's really the problem with Fortnite. Fortnite's kind of getting good now because as I'm recording this, right now we're on the sprite season where like we collect sprites and stuff. Yeah, that was fun. It's still fun, but you know, it's just not my type of game anymore, probably.
4th chapter of Fortnite. The Chapter 1 map just seemed
I'll still play it from time to time.
to be left behind in 2019 forever. We did know we were going into a 1-month season in November, and somehow Twitter users were genuinely convinced it would be a full-on Lego season.
I don't think Fortnite had a single bad mini season. I'm just not a fan of Star Wars, so I did not like the Star Wars mini season. That was the only one I didn't like. Simpsons, all that stuff was really good. Chapter 2 Remix, that was a good one too.
Anyway, on the last update of Chapter 4 Season 4, we'd see a loading screen with the time machine set to go back to the original Season 5, and a bunch of teasers would start to appear on the map. Once Epic started to officially advertise the season, the teasers were really nostalgic and way better than what
Bro, I forgot about Lachlan.
The season. The teasers were really nostalgic and way better than whatever this was. The hype was unreal, and the official announcement became one of their most liked tweets ever. I want to say the second most liked tweet, right behind the Dragon Ball announcement. I could be wrong on that though. Regardless, it was clear that people were excited to go back to this map, and after years,
not a huge fan of Dragon Ball because I don't really watch anime, so, but that was a really cool teaser.
The second most liked tweet, right behind the
yeah, so wait, this was like one of the most liked tweets. Hold on, how much was the OG one? 242k.
announcement. I could be wrong on that though. Regardless, it was clear that people were excited to go back to this map, and after years of people saying Chapter 1 wasn't actually good, it's all just nostalgia, we'd finally get to replay it and decide for ourselves. On November 3rd, 2023, Fortnite OG dropped. And look guys, there's really no other way to put it. I'm gonna be glazing, okay? It was beautiful. I'm sure the memories started flooding in for a bunch of you, but let's look at this from a more objective point of view. And remember, people played this OG season that never got a chance to play the original Chapter 1. So
dude, everyone was playing it on release. Like, there was like 2 million people on. I remember it was like 2.8 million people playing Fortnite when the OG season released. Really great season.
did it live up to the hype? The map is great. Get me wrong, there was a point in time where people were begging to leave, but that was for good reason. Last year, we returned to the Season 5 version of the Chapter 1 map, which was really solid. You had places like Pleasant Park, Lazy Links, Fatal Fields, Dusty Divot, Paradise Palms, Tilted Towers. There was something for everyone here.
I'm so gonna get called new gen for this, but Chapter 2 was so much better than Chapter 1. Like, I played Chapter 1 a little bit, and for a couple of seasons, but dude, Chapter 2 was like amazing. Like, I never got off the game. Me and my friends never got off the game. It was fun.
And I feel like that's where some of the newer maps missed the mark.
Chapter 4 wasn't bad either.
These POIs just played and felt good, and what I mean by that is look at some of the places from the Primal season or the Wild season, and
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This was like the only bad season of Chapter 2. Season 8 as well. I don't really like Season 8.
they were just horrible. Those are probably the most extreme examples, but you get what I mean. It feels like some of these newer locations are designed more with the intention to
Dude,
look
Chapter 5? Chapter 5 was goated. Like Chapter 5.
good than to actually
I feel like the last two seasons got boring. Season 1 and Season 2 were not terrible.
play good. The Primal POIs are awkward to build in and difficult to fight for that reason. The gameplay of these original Chapter 1 locations were great, probably because they were made up of simpler assets ported from Save the World. The biggest criticism I see about this map is the amount of reused assets. Some of the buildings in the POIs are identical, but for the suburban spots, I feel like that makes sense. Then you have
Yeah, wasn't Fortnite originally a zombie game? I don't think they were intended to be a battle royale game.
random houses around the map and smaller huts, and again, I really don't see a problem with this. I actually like the familiarity that this map offers. Also, no bosses, no mythics, no NPCs, just 100 players drop in and fight, and I love that. Chapter 2 Season 1 gets
Oh, dude, this is a really underrated opinion, but I think like the bosses made the game so much more fun. Like the henchmen and the bosses, the POIs with Season 2 of Chapter 2, I think it was called. Really great season, really great chapter, and I think that's really the reason it got carried in the mythics, the introduction to mythics, exotics, and all that stuff. That's why I think Chapter 2 is superior in my own way. That's my own way of thinking, though.
a lot of hate for just being boring, but I actually look back at it fondly because it felt like the last normal season of Fortnite. And I'm not necessarily against the more modern scripted gameplay with the bosses and the henchmen and the vaults. The high season of Chapter 4 was one of my favorite seasons of all time, but it was nice to play a normal
I
battle
feel like Season 1 was better than Season 4 of Chapter 4. Like when we had the castle and stuff, it was like a medieval kind of season. The graphics were really cool, really nice. I think it was perfect.
royale, player versus player, and no OP mythics, just gun versus gun. Without the boss POIs, it felt like you could really land anywhere.
Dude, I miss when it showed the things at the top where it showed your level and stuff. Remember when it gave you like a gold name tag when you hit level 100? That was gonna make me grind the game even more. Now they got rid of it, and it kind of is just boring to get levels 100 now.
Now the visuals, this looks surprisingly amazing. Let's all admit that Chapter 4 is probably the best this game has ever looked, and
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is like when the downfall of Fortnite began. Like I hate how they made their game more realistic. Like it's supposed to be like a cartoonish battle royale. I feel like Chapter 3 had the best graphics, and I think Fortnite should have kept it that way. But it's still a good game.
was a perfect blend of cartoony while being realistic in high definition, but
Yeah, I think Chapter 3 was like the best example of that though.
OG's graphics were great too. The cartoony style is what represents this game, and it's not far-fetched to say that it helped the game's popularity in 2017-2018. A bunch of shooters aimed for realistic graphics with a dark, gritty color scheme, but Fortnite really
They were all trying to be like Call of Duty, I'm guessing.
stuck out. And to see these graphics back 5 years later, after a bunch of evolution throughout, I was shocked to see that it still worked. We did, and they updated some models like the big trees, but yeah, for the most part, the original graphics from like 7 years ago, probably even earlier from Save the World, worked really well. My only complaint being that for whatever reason, the desert biome was extremely orange, and I think at some point in Chapter 4, they removed the fog.
Extremely orange. Was it like originally yellow? I'm guessing.
So that did make it look a
What was weird about this OG season wasn't fully because I didn't add Polar Peak back. Like they didn't add some locations back. It was kind of like a mixture, a mashup of POIs.
little bit worse, but in moment-to-moment
Basically just
gameplay,
remixes or something.
it looked great. But honestly, what's a good map without a good loot pool? And
Hand cannon was awesome.
Chapter 1 has some of Fortnite's best and most iconic weapons and items. You have the Scar, Pump Shotgun, Bolt Sniper, Rocket Launcher, and it all works really well together. And it's weird to think that Fortnite really nailed the weapons on their first chapter. Like, yeah, we've had balance changes along the way, but there was never really a point in the game where it felt like the majority of the loot pool was overpowered or underpowered. It was generally balanced and fun. Take Chapter 3, Season 3.
Didn't the Scar, like back then, used to do 93 damage to the head? Like the golden Scar? Was that really like balanced to people? Now we just have people complaining every single day about what happens in the game. I'm not gonna say I'm not one of them, but I'm kind of one of them. I'm not even gonna try to hide from it.
For example, on day 1, they added the Hammer AR, 2-shot shotgun, and DMR, and they were all ass. The Hammer did get
The 2-shot was terrible. DMR was pretty good though. I actually like the DMR.
some changes later on that
I like all the Fortnite DMR. I think the Cobra, I think it's called the Cobra DMR. It's really good. I like that weapon. My favorite DMR in the game, actually.
made it feel a little bit better, but having a bunch of weapons that are all bad all at once really drags down the gameplay. And look, you do need some stuff that's not objectively great early game weapons, and of course the original Chapter 1 had its fair share of that, with the worst weapon they put out probably being the crossbow. But in last
Crossbow? Oh, is it the heart one? The Cupid crossbow? Yeah, that was terrible.
year's OG
I'm not even gonna glaze that one, man. I did not like that weapon.
season, I'd say the only bad weapons were the burst and scope
Y'all remember Team Rumble? Where's that at?
ARs, because for some reason they made them even worse than they were originally, and the 6-shooter. For the most part, the OG season had a perfect balance of decent usable weapons, very good stealed weapons, fun and effective weapons, and classic Fortnite-like items. The game would update every week, taking us back into different seasons of Chapter 1 with locations and unvaults to represent that gameplay. The map changes were honestly really lackluster.
What was this? Oh, yeah, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. They didn't add Polar Peak. Actually, no, I think they did. I don't know if that's Polar Peak or not. Probably not, but they added Greasy Grove. They kept Greasy Grove over here. The snow biome's not as big as it used to be. I can see what he means by this being more orange. That makes sense. This was orange. I mean, wait, hold on. This was more orange. This is like yellowish, kind of more like desert-like. They did not add Lazy Lagoon. The block, they didn't add back because the controversy from Bad Creator map. They didn't add the volcano. Dang, they didn't add a lot of stuff. They didn't add Sunny Steps. Junk Junction was still there. Haunted Hills was still there. Snobby Shores. Snobby Shores was barely in the snow. Salty Springs was still there. Fatal Fields. I think everything else was still there. It's just the snow was not fully like right where Tilted is.
Compared to the actual Chapter 1 seasons, and what they ended up doing instead of taking us back to the actual Season 7 or Season 8 map was just taking a smaller part that was added in those seasons and putting it onto the Season 5 map without removing anything. Kind of
So basically a mashup of every season together, but except you're not removing anything.
disappointing, but again, I've said that the Season 5 map was already good, so I didn't mind that much. Week 1, the start of the OG season, was of course based around Season 5 with some of the
I played Chapter 1 Season 8 with my friend. That was fun. I remember wearing the Peely skin.
earlier classic Fortnite items thrown into the loot pool as well, like the smoke grenades. It wasn't a perfect one-to-one recreation of the original Season 5, with some stuff missing like the double barrel shotgun, some weapons functioning differently like the grenade launcher, and some stuff actually being buffed like the grappler being back to 20 uses and now with fall damage immunity, and the semi-auto sniper.
It was 20. I thought it was always 10. Man, I'm so uneducated on Chapter 1 now.
Being absolutely insane. And I think this probably worked better than just porting everything one-to-one, and also proved that this OG gameplay style still works today. The vehicles we started out with, we had the ATKs and the shopping cart. Okay, the shopping carts are trash, we can all admit it, but they were the first vehicle to ever be added, and they're kind of a harmless addition, so you can just ignore them if you want. The ATKs though are amazing. I've already said my hot take in another video that the
shopping carts for fun, ATK to get into circle.
cars have sucked since day one. They're just a boring vehicle. They need fuel. Most of them handle horribly off-road, and it's also really annoying to chase someone down in a car and shoot the players inside as it covers so much. The ATKs were honestly perfect, handled really well around the map, no fuel, and fighting other players in ATKs was pretty easy since they were exposed. This is what vehicles should be. Good.
Now, this is where I disagree. I think the cars are better. Like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think the cars are so much better, but not the cars now in chapter like 7 right now we're in. They like transform into like a supercar. It's just weird, or whatever car you have equipped from Rocket League. It's really strange. I don't like it.
To use on the Fortnite map, fun to use, and not a crutch to escape
I'm not even trying to hate. I'm just saying. That's just my opinion, so don't attack me.
fights. This was probably the simplest version of Fortnite we've had since at least chapter 2, and it was still extremely fun. Week 2 season 6 update brought the floating loot lake island, which was definitely an upgrade to the original loot lake.
I like the floating island. That was awesome. I remember seeing that. I remember it was like Kevin the Cube exploded.
We got a bunch of
like a butterfly event.
Some being items that were originally introduced in season 6, like the heavy AR, 6-shooter, dynamite, mounted turrets, and some other items that they just decided to throw in, like just now giving us the double barrel shotgun, clingers, shockwaves, and then for whatever reason we also got the chapter 3 grapple glove. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on with that, and they also brought us the chapter 4 motorcycles down the line, which actually worked really well in the chapter 1 map.
It did, but like, why? Did they have a specific reason? Was people complaining about the ATKs being too slow or something?
And I don't think we'll ever know the reason why these decisions were made, but they weren't game breaking, so I really don't care. We got the quad crasher back, and no, you couldn't fly infinitely around the map, so that kind of sucked. But
I remember seeing that on YouTube. I thought I saw like clips of like laser beam or something. Dude, I remember his old videos sniping from like 2,000 meters.
Also got the drift board, which I think is easily the most fun vehicle we've ever had.
That's the best vehicle.
Here was probably the weakest in the season. The heavy AR will just never be as good as it originally was. I mean, a gold heavy now does as much as a blue one did when it first released. Porta Fortresses also came back, and those—
Wait, really? Wow. See these stats. DPS 165, DPS 165, damage 44, damage 44. Magazine size. So these are just all the same stats. Jeez.
Released. Porta Fortresses also came back, and those things were spawning up everyone's asses. I think the original season 6 was kind of a weird time for Fortnite anyway, and it ended up taking place in between some of the most popular seasons, but what we got here for OG was still good. Week 3 brought season 7 and 8 with like half of the ice biome.
This is what I was excited for. I didn't like how they brought half of it, like half the ice biome onto the map, but Season 7 was cool with the ice biome. I actually like the ice biome more than the desert biome.
And none of the jungle biome, but hey, it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't even give us the jungle biome. They just left it. So they're just bringing like one part of every season onto the map without getting rid of anything.
Instead of getting the whole ice biome and the land around it blanketed in snow, what we got felt kinda incomplete, but it was still nice to have Flush Factory and Greasy Grove around. The loot pool here started to represent the later seasons of Chapter 1 with more crazy items like the drum gun, flint knock, combat shotgun, and quad launcher, and even though the drum gun is regarded as one of the most broken weapons in Fortnite history, it was in a nerf state, so it was a decent addition. Cannons came back, which were kind of forgettable like the shopping carts, and the return of planes.
This is Fortnite, guys. This is Fortnite. We are doing Morse code in planes in the air. We are giving each other Morse code to be friendly in a solo battle royale.
They were fine this time around. The final week would bring the seasons 9 and X.
I don't understand why they just didn't simply take it out of arena.
Update by just adding a meteor to the map. Okay, I can't defend the middle of map changes.
Was that really it? Only the meteor? Swear they added something else.
At this point, this one was just useless, but again, the loot pool makes up for it. One of my favorite and probably one of the best Chapter 1 weapons, the infantry rifle, finally came back.
This weapon's terrible. Like, I'm sorry, I sadly disagree, but that weapon was not it.
More crazy items like the jetpack and stormflip returned, and the baller vehicle, which kept its battery nerf from chapter 3 but still fun to use. And I think that with all these vehicles, they're just better to use on the chapter 1 terrain since the map isn't that complex. Which brings us into why was Fortnite OG so good? It's not only the charming, cartoony art style, but the gameplay simplicity. As I said before, Epic could put out a season with bosses and mythics and crazy items and insanely overpowered weapons, and you could still have a blast, but there's just something so addicting about this simple gameplay. Look, I die in a 1v1, and maybe the guy I was fighting had higher rarity guns that did slightly more damage, or maybe he had a sniper or RPG that I didn't have, but for the most part, if I died, it was really a skill issue. We're on pretty even playing fields with the items available and the loot that the POIs have to offer. I didn't die to a mythic item that only one person in the match can have, and yeah, I'll never be on the same level as...
Dude, I don't know why, but I feel like that's just better. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the mythics were awesome. You had to earn it by the boss. And, you know, if you don't get it, then that's kind of you. I mean, there's also like 5 other bosses on the map back in like chapter 2. You could have always got another one.
whatever the hell this is, but now with skill-based
Oh, yeah,
matchmaking
that.
that...
Oh, whoa, okay.
whatever the hell this is, but now with
Yeah, people got too sweaty, bro. This is why we can't experience OG Fortnite anymore.
skill-based matchmaking that seems to work sometimes, and ranked modes, it's overall a good experience. Fortnite blew up in 2018, and this gameplay style is
20
why. There are
million players. Jeez.
obviously people that started playing after Chapter 1, but this is what most of us fell in love with, and the modern
The Zapper Trap, I remember that.
style
It was
is
like the very beginning, and it got instantly nerfed. I mean, instantly. I mean, not even nerfed. It just got out of the game. They just vaulted it.
fine too. Things have to change, and that's
OG Ninja days.
what kept the game alive back then, was the new updates every single week. So after years of everyone saying Chapter 1 was not good, it was boring, it's just rose-tinted glasses, Fortnite OG proved that it wasn't nostalgia, and we're gonna get to relive it again in just 2 weeks.
That was a good video. I'm liking this video. Subscribing to this guy too. Good video. Alright, let's see what we can do now.
Money. There was nobody, no one that run me. So can you run for my money?